Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. A different look for me today. I've spent the whole day in the garden, but I wanted to get this video out there because I think it makes a very valid point about preparedness. Preparedness is not the zombie apocalypse, okay? It is not the end of the world. It is life's little emergencies, and that is a big part of preparedness. Now, a member of our Facebook group, Shelly, posted something yesterday afternoon and she gave me permission to read it, which is another reason I was waiting to do this video, because I wanted to read the entire thing to you so that you could see just how quickly people go a little crazy. Okay, so she said today is July 8th 2022, 6:23 p.m. This post is being shared as a heads up, not as a drama tactic. Preparedness 101 is amazing. Preparedness 101, okay? So early today, one of Canada's largest internet and cellular providers' services crashed. Rogers is still down. I have TELUS internet, but no phone service. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. This post is to inform, not scare people. Debit is down, basic banking and ATM, cell service, internet, security systems. Today, Canada's digital vaccination app was down and travelers without paper vax docs were being denied entry at airports. TD Bank, CIBC, and Royal Bank were all a gong show with many unhappy customers. Superstore, which is a grocery store for them, was cash only. 911 service is still disrupted. I live downtown. Some dudes showed up this afternoon at my ground floor patio door with a baseball bat. I am very blessed as I held them off with bear spray and several neighbors saw these troublemakers and made a stand and kept my condo safe. I proactively am now boarding up my sliding patio glass. There is now a power outage. Wow. So in just the short time that it took for 911 services to not be working, the troublemakers were already out trying to cause trouble because what's the first line of defense? 911, okay? For a lot of people, I know there's other lines of defense, guys. But, thanks to neighbors, bear spray, there was a problem dodged. But I think that this makes a really great case. Now, and I think farther in the comments later down, she said that she had her bug out bag, her 72-hour bag. She grabbed it, a few other things, and after they boarded up the window, they took off for their other property. They were getting out of the populated area. But in just that short amount of time, certain aspects of the public decided that they could do whatever they wanted to do. Preparedness is for these kinds of little emergencies, okay? This is, not a job loss. This is not, a health issue, something like that. It could have become. This is the 911 service went down, and so a certain faction of the populace decided that they could do whatever they wanted and there would be no repercussions because there is no internet, there is no phone, there is no 911. What are you going to do to take care of yourself? What are you going to do as an older person? What are you going to do as a younger person? Answers may be a little different. You need to take a look at your situation, but now is a really great time to start thinking ahead and make sure that you're ready for these kinds of one-off wacky situations, okay? It's important to make sure that you have a 72-hour bag that you can grab and go. It's a grab and go bag, guys, okay? So that it has the basics that you need to be able to grab and go. It has your important paperwork. It has, food, clothing, medicine, that kind of stuff. If you can further go beyond that step, bear spray, I love it. Wasp spray, I love it. A baseball bat, I love it. Because any kind of self-protection during that kind of instance is very important. I am not up to date on Canada's gun laws. I do not know what they can or cannot do. But I do know that there are other ways to protect yourself other than just a gun. So to be aware that the sliding doors, which this used to be 2 sliding doors, and I could not wait to get rid of them. 1, they were energy suckers, but 2, they are definite security risk. And so those come with townhouses, condos, house is, okay? But they are a security risk. So I'm not saying go get rid of them. I'm saying, what can you do to fortify them? What can you do to close up that hole if it becomes a hole? What can you do to better prepare yourself for these kinds of emergencies? Farther down in the comments of that post, there was somebody else saying that, you know, they had, I think it was in Newfoundland, where they said that their service was down for a while too. And so this is kind of, and it's not totally 100% back up yet. These are the kind of things that are going to continue to happen. Our infrastructure is so weak and so old. And with all of these new things coming online, with all of the push to go electric, I don't know how we're going to keep up with it. I'm not going to debate it. That's not why I'm here. What I'm saying is that our infrastructure is seriously lacking. They're not putting money towards upgrading it. They're not putting money towards securing it. But they are loading it up a little bit more. So I want you to picture, for instance, that outlet in your house, and you plugged in a power strip, okay? Because you had more things that you had to plug in. So now you're pulling all that extra energy from that outlet that was made for two. And then because you have a few more things you're going to plug in, you're going to plug in a power strip to the power strip to the outlet. And now you have a fire hazard beyond all recognition. And it's pulling power, 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 power. So when that thing decides to go, A, it's either going to catch on fire, or B, it's just going to give out and right? So it's not safe. That is how I liken our infrastructure right now. I'm not talking about just electric either, even though that is the primary one for discussion. I'm talking about, you know, any of our infrastructure, water, gas, electric, communications, you name it. So if our infrastructure starts to degrade, which it is, then we're going to continue running into these kinds of problems. So how can you protect yourself moving forward so that you have what you need when you need it in an emergency? That is the thing to sit down, because we're all going to have different answers depending on where we live, our circumstances, you know, our budget, you name it. There's going to be all kinds of variables to that question, but you're the only person that can answer it. So I want you to imagine that you just experienced this scenario. You know, all of the internet is down, all of the phone lines are down, 911 is down, and there are creeps running around tormenting people. How can you protect yourself? How can you protect your home? How can you protect your family? And what can you do if you have to leave it? Okay, with no power, there's a good chance you're not cooking, unless you have backup alternatives for cooking. There's a good chance that if you're rural like we are, you're not able to pull from the well. So do you have some kind of generator that can get your well on? You know, what can you do to protect yourself if you do not have firearms? You have bear spray, you have wasp spray, you have other things that you can use. There are a ton of alternatives out there. But if you take a few moments today and sit with this scenario and sit with it with your location, if this happened today where I'm at, where I'm sitting today, do I have what I need to make sure that I'm safe, to make sure that the people with me are safe, and to make sure that I can get away if I have to with the necessary important stuff? Now, grandma's jewelry may be important. Is it worth your life? Probably not. My computer tower, it's not a big deal, but I'd probably smash it on my way out the door because I don't want people accessing my data. But a lot of people now, they don't have to be in your home to access your data, you know? So you have to look at different ways to protect yourself with that, with like a VPN or something else. The hackers are getting better all the time at what they do, and they are targeting major companies, they are targeting infrastructure, and then there's just the fact that our infrastructure is wearing out. So I'm urging you today to take a few minutes and sit down and put yourself in that situation, because I know when she said it, I went, okay, do I have what I need? I'm so glad she shared it, but do I have what I need to do what she did that quickly, that responsively? I think I do. Okay. But I'm sure I'm forgetting something. So if you have any suggestions, and we're talking, remember, we're talking kind of a fast paced thing here because, oh, I didn't put down what time well, it was 19 hours ago that she did this. So it was probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time when this went down. But, 2 or 3. Anyway, math. You know, this is the middle of the day. You've got a Friday. You're doing your due, whatever's going on. And do you have what you need to make this happen quickly, very quickly. Can you be responsive if you see a bunch of kids or thugs or whoever coming up with a baseball bat to your glass door? Do you have what you need to grab that bag and go? Okay. It gives you a lot to think about, and I appreciate her sharing her experience with us. Apparently, this was a localized issue for the most part, but it was still it was a big enough issue. If you're in a more urban setting, and all of a sudden that there's no 911 service, there's no phone, there's no internet, there's nothing for communication. How are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to protect your family, your belongings? I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Be sure to throw them in the comments section down below. As always, you are fantastic and awesome, and we will be back tomorrow with a canning project. Yes, we will, and I will not be wearing this hat. Until next time, be safe.